there's no schedules. There's nothing to wait for. There's nothing, there's no, we can't, like, the thing where, like, we're watching it and then we kind of lose our attention, and then they sort of do something bad, and we're like, wait, what we were doing? No. There's no need to wait for anything. There's no curtain to go behind. There's, okay, anybody at all can just, like, send in a bill, and you get one congressman, if we're doing congressman. Again, this could work for anybody. This could work for a committee meeting. This could work for, running a library. I don't know if you're a Democratic library. And then you just, put the proposal up, and anyone can vote on it. Right? And they can change their vote anytime. Now, there's one foreseeable problem here, and that is the idea of dithering. Now, I told you that once the thing gets up to a majority, it becomes law, and then once it goes back down again, it becomes not law. Well, what if, you get 50 or 49%, and then it goes like 51%, 49, 41, because like there's, two guys in the middle keep changing their minds. And then you have a dithering problem. And today it's law, and tomorrow it's not. Today it's law, and tomorrow it's not. Well, that's simple. You just come up with a delay. Right, and so you say, for any time the bill changes, it has to, from not law to law, or from law to not law, anytime there's a change, it has to stay in this new changed state for, 30 days straight, right? So, when it gets up to, a majority, it has to stay there. The clock starts ticking, 30 days, then 29, 28, 27, and then if it goes back down again, and then the clock goes back again, it goes back down again, so the clock just dies, and it goes back up again to this majority, and the clock starts back again at 30 days, 29, 30, so once it stays there, then, for a good 30 days straight, and imagine that point, wouldn't it be nice to have this point where, like, the bill is passed, but there's this little pause, if anybody doesn't like it, anybody out in the community, you can speak up, and what you probably want to do is, you could do, I don't know, it might get complicated, but you could do a thing where, like, the more of a majority you have, the less of a waiting period. So if it's 51%, then you have to wait, like, 90 days, but if it's, like, 60%, agree to this bill, then it's only 30 days, and if it's 90%, then it's only 10 days, or, something like that. Weird little things. So if you could have a simple, and that would work the other way too. So if the bill is already a law, it's already, so it's not a law, it becomes a law after 30 days, in a majority, and then like 2 years later, okay, we don't like this law anymore, so it drops down below the majority, and then there's also a clock in that direction because it was a bill just a moment ago, a law just a moment ago. So now to become not a law anymore, it's gonna have to stay in the not law position for 30 days or whatever before it then knocks out again. And the same deal with, like, if a whole lot of people hate this bill, then maybe it goes by a bit faster. I don't know. Little things work out. But I like that, fluid. Nothing to hide. Nothing to, nothing to hide behind. And so that's sort of the idea of fluid voting. And going right along with that was fluid representation. Which I thought was an interesting idea, with the one problem that it does seem to take out the anonymity from democracy, which we do kind of like our anonymity, do we? But this could probably work for smaller groups, at the very least. Maybe some 100, 200 people trying to make a decision on something. Because here's the thing with representative democracy is, well, we'd all like to do direct democracy, but we don't have the time to either attend all the votes. We don't attend them anymore because fluid voting. Or to, research all the topics. We want someone else to have this for this. Well, what if it works like this? When a representative votes, he votes literally by using the proxy votes of other people. What does that mean? Well, it means like this. Start off with direct democracy. Everyone can vote on every bill that comes by. Alright, every proposal. Alright. But then, we had kind of that old problem, people don't have time to look up all the stuff and read every bill and everything. So each individual person has a right to lend out their vote to other people. Now imagine it like a list. And at the top of that list is your name. You, the person whose vote this is. And you actually can't change that. Like, even if you wanted to, it's like constitutional or something that you are in charge of your own vote, so long as you live. And if you die, then your vote disappears, naturally. But then you could put someone else on the second part of the list, and you could say, okay, maybe Congressman Bob. He's not even a congressman at this point if it's fluid representation, but, Bob Smith, whatever, okay. So I say, Bob Smith is a nice guy, I trust him, So he has my authority to vote for me unless I overrule him. So you do is you give your vote to Bob Smith. Bob Smith then exercises it as he likes, and like the fluid voting thing, fluid representation, you can do it anytime, any day of the week, anytime, day or night. You can pretty much go into, I don't know, some sort of courthouse or something, sign a form, who knows what, and give, Bob Smith the right to have your vote by proxy to be the number 2 guy on your list, because you yourself are always number 1. And then, anytime, day or night, you can take that right away again. Wouldn't that be nice? You imagine, a congressman starts acting up, getting in trouble and stuff, and then everyone just goes, "Oh, well, I'll take my vote back." I say there's two definitions of vote. There's vote as in an individual, there are 10 votes yes and 3 votes no, and then there's a vote as in your generalized ability to vote. Like one man, one vote doesn't mean one vote in all of your lifetime. It means one vote, like a generalized vote, like every time there's a bill, there's one vote per person sort of thing. Anyway, but imagine, it's all the people who vote for Mr. Johnson or whatever, and they vote for Johnson, and then Johnson is, implicated in some scandal, and then, maybe not everyone, but several of the people who voted for Johnson could be like, "Oh, wait a minute, Johnson's in a scandal here, actually I don't trust him anymore," so you just walk up to that aforementioned courthouse, say, "Take away Johnson's power to use my vote by proxy," and then Johnson loses it. You see, so every person, every representative is measured by how many votes by proxy that they have, which offers up an interesting thing that you don't need to be like this regular person or world leader, as it were. There's all sorts of little things in the middle, even on national issues, because the guys deciding the national issues have to be, there's 535 congressmen, isn't that right? There's 435 in the House of Representatives and 100 in the Senate. Keep doing this American politics, whatever. That's what I know. So there's a certain number, and you have to be of a real upper echelon to actually affect directly the national policies, the national laws and stuff. But what if we did this interesting thing where it's like direct democracy in that anyone can vote here, but I can give my vote and take that vote away to a different person to vote for me. I can say to Bob Smith, and I say, "Bob, I'll trust you on this, you do the vote." And then Bob, his popularity might go up, and it's measured not in polls, but in the votes, the number of people that he gets with him. And here's the thing, I mentioned earlier that you lose the anonymity, because the only way to do this would you have to keep track, and Bob Smith would have to say, "Look, I'm voting on behalf of this, and that other person," right? Because it was anonymous. Well, then how do you know that I didn't give my vote to Bob Smith and my vote to Mr. Johnson and my vote to 100 different other people, and then I'm being counted several different times, and that doesn't count. That doesn't make any sense. So now there's the whole anonymity, lack thereof type thing. I don't know. But I give my vote to Bob Smith, and then his popularity can go up, and he gets more votes, right? And then his popularity goes down, and if it goes down, it immediately goes down. You wouldn't imagine that? A congressman gets in trouble or something, and then just immediately his power is just halved. Because half the people that voted for him are just never mind, I'm taking your power away. Immediately. Just any day of the week, you just walk in and be like, "Take my power away from Mr. Johnson." And okay, Mr. Johnson is out. And suddenly he's representative of 4 people, which he could be, which I was saying a moment ago with the upper echelon thing, and how there's a certain number of people can get in, so you have to be really up there and really campaigning and really, well, imagine, there's a trusted guy in your town. I keep making up names. No, wait, I keep doing guys. That's biased of me. So let's say Mrs. Anderson. Anyway. I guess that would be Trinity? Anyway, I'm not getting into the Matrix. And so there's a Mrs. Anderson whom, is well known in just her little town, and people trust her, and then they know, more importantly, that she's politically minded, that she knows a lot about the various bills and various issues. She talks about this, she thinks about this a lot. And so, maybe she gets 20, 30 votes by proxy just from people in her town. And so she's got that little bit more power now to influence national law, because this counts for national law, or, it could also count for state law and local law. And again, this could affect anybody. I keep thinking national. It could be any sort of democracy-type group thing you want. And yes, my hands always move like that.